Welcome to Ag on Wheels. Today we find ourselves right outside of Bradford, Illinois with the one, the only, Rob Sharkey. So Rob is a man of many talents. Not only is he a farmer, but what else do you do?
Yes, we farm. That's our main gig. That's our main job. We're also a white-tailed deer outfitter. And then we do a weekly podcast, 2 weekly podcasts actually, an XM radio show and a television show.
Talk about a man of many talents. So today we're going to take a journey in the life of Rob Sharkey. Rob, every farmer has a story of how they got started.
Yep.
What's your story?
I was blessed to be in a family that understood multi-generational farming. So where we're standing actually has been in the family since 1854.
You're that old?
I am very old. I am very old, yes.
Being involved in ag media, such as myself, you know, with the magazine and the TV show and all the things I got going on, how do you find the time with your podcast and your TV show to make time to farm?
Well, all of that is to farm. I mean, the way that I got started is I came back from college and we got into hogs. And it was just happened to be the year where the hog market crashed. And I mean, we were sitting in front of a banker and he's like, you need to file bankruptcy. You need to just fold it up. We didn't. We literally fought through that. I mean, I rode my bike to work. I did off-farm jobs. We did all this stuff. And I never want to be back there again. So all this stuff that we're doing, this podcast, the radio show, the TV show, I mean, I never want to be in that position again where I'm going to be the guy that could lose this family farm. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like in today's society, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but it's almost impossible to farm if you're not married into it or if you didn't grow up in a farming family. Yeah. It's very difficult to purchase the land, to purchase the equipment. And so I think that these farmers, and especially the younger generation, definitely have a bigger appreciation for the land that they farm.
Now, we bought the farm. I mean, we bought the equipment, we bought into it, we weren't giving it to it, but still, I would not be farming if it hadn't been for that opportunity of my parents.
Yeah, and definitely when you buy something, definitely have a little more appreciation than being handed to it, right?
Damn Skippy.
Looks like I've shown up just in time because we are going to start harvesting your corn today. That is right?
Yes, yes, and you're gonna run it a little bit, huh?
Oh, we might not make it out alive, but I'm gonna drive. Let's harvest that corn. Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Whoa.
Rob, how long would it take you to harvest this field of corn?
You know, again, we're really lucky with this field. This is a big field. It's 300 acres, which for around here is good size. So I don't know, 4 days or so.
That's not too bad.
That's if everything's going really well.
What moisture content do you look for when it comes to knowing when your harvest's ready? I know for us, we try to be at 11 where I'm from.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and it's funny how different it is from state to state.
Yeah, I would say 25, you're starting to get a little antsy. This is 20.0, so yeah, this is more than ready.
And so explain to those at home who don't know the importance of the moisture in the corn, you know, if you harvest too early or harvest too late.
The problem is mainly the storage in it, and when you put it in a bin, you know, if it's over 15% and you got air in the bin, I mean, it could spoil. So it's a deal of trying to keep it in your bins without it spoiling, but yet you don't want to get it too dry because you're giving away weight, which is how you're paid for the corn.
Perfection.
Perfection. Over that way a little bit, and now hit 2 twice, and you It should be all right. It should be. You got the bad habit that every farmer has is you touch the wheel after you hit the auto. So yeah, it's hard to do.
If you had the choice to either farm or continue on with your podcast, which would it be?
This farm. Yeah. This is what I love. I love growing crops, and it's mainly corn and soybeans because that's the bread and butter here. But man, I love playing around with other stuff. It just gets in your blood.
It's almost like raising a child. I always say, you plant the seed and watch it grow, and you've got to nurture it, and then eventually you send it off.
Yeah,
right?
The corn doesn't talk back.
That is true. Well, maybe it does. You just don't hear it. Aside from farming, this is where it all happens with the podcast and the radio show. How did you get started in that?
We had a hunter come to the outfitter, Carrie Zoka, and she had a hunting podcast that was doing really well. And the more we got talking to her, I decided it was something I wanted to try. So we started it. We started it on Ag Twitter. We were just interviewing other people from there. Really hadn't been done before, so I think between the concept and the timing, it just took off.
Every farmer has a story, and you try to tell those stories and use your podcast and your TV show and radio show as that vehicle for that story. How do you find those people to interview? It's not hard. I remember early on, like before the first 100 episodes, people saying, well, you're gonna run out of stories, and it just doesn't happen. Everybody's got a story. I think the key is, I'm the host, I'm not the guest. People want to know about the guest, and if you actually sit and listen to them, there's always a story. Maybe not always on the surface, maybe not always where they're going to tell you right off the bat, but if you listen, people will generally tell you what's very cool about their story. You got to dig deep sometimes to get that story.
You got to do a little prodding with some people.
You got to get to the roots. We've moved from the farm to the studio, and now we're in the woods.
Yeah, which is honestly one of my favorite places. I feel very comfortable in the woods. I love my farm, I love the studio, but I truly feel like I'm at peace out here.
I can see why. It's very peaceful. In fact, I feel like my energy is just calmed down a little bit, which is unusual for me. But so tell us a little bit about your outfitter program that you have.
I did it as a way to get out of debt. We had incurred a lot when we tried to raise hogs, and it didn't work out. And my wife and I came up with the idea of bringing in hunters because we do have incredible hunting here in Illinois. We started out, it just skyrocketed, and it allowed us to really kind of sharpen the number of hunters we have, get the right ones in there, and now we've got just a group of guys that come back every year, and it's just been so enjoyable. Not only is it a business, but I've got some of my best friends.
But your wife does play an influential part in your successes. Tell us how important she is to you.
When Shark Farmer, the brand was kind of taking off, we didn't know what to do with it because it was getting more for me to handle. She wasn't necessarily a social media person, but she jumped in, and she jumped in not only to helping with that, but to helping on the radio show. She's a producer of it now. I know what I am. I'm a very creative person, very creative. The other stuff is my weakness, and that's where she compliments me so well.
Rob, thank you so much for having me and my team come out here. It's amazing, everything that you have to offer. It's beautiful.
Oh, I'm so glad you came out. It's actually nice to hang out with you guys a little bit.
Thanks. I'm actually nice in person, aren't I?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of ways to describe things, isn't there?
I guess so. Touche. In all seriousness, Rob, what is one thing that keeps you getting up every morning and doing what you do?
I think it's because I'm not doing the same thing every day. I mean, yeah, we're in harvest, but yet I get to come out here, I get to do the radio show, I get to work with my family. Those are the things. I can't wait to get up and get going in the morning. It's just, I'm living a pretty good life.
You are. I always say it's faith, farming, and family that keeps you going. So you keep on trucking, we're rooting for you, and where will I be next time with Ag on Wheels? Who knows?